It was the dying wish of Mr. Watanabe from the third floor of my apartment building that I begin a YouTube channel to broadcast to a large audience some of the things I've written and would occasionally read to Watanabe and his seeing eye dog on a bench down by the river. Though it should be noted that Mr. Watanabe from the third floor sees just fine and only keeps the dog because the mutt, Watanabe says, sees even better. It should also be noted, while we're noting things, that Mr. Watanabe, whose apartment is on the floor between the second and fourth, did not in the end die, and he says it was probably just an ice cream headache that brought him temporarily low. But a promise is a promise, and honestly I would have said anything to stop all the shrieking and cursing. So I've gone ahead and set up this YouTube channel, but if I'm being honest, I'm almost certain I was played by Mr. Watanabe, who lives one floor below the halfway point of our 8-story building. That's right, manipulated by my neighbor to set up this channel in my aged friend's hope of achieving some sort of notoriety through the occasional mentions of him in my writing. For Mr. Watanabe is not a man without vanity, but it is a vanity that is more than made up for by his generosity of spirit and an all too rare tolerance of opinions contrary to his own. A tolerance, though I am recalling now he once confided in me, does not extend to lactose, which, combined with the fact that there was no ice cream nearby at the time of Mr. Watanabe's near-death experience, can only lead to the unpleasant conclusion that I indeed was hoodwinked by the wily Watanabe. And so it is with a mix of emotions that I announce the establishment of this YouTube channel, thus fulfilling a promise I made under false pretenses to a man who shares with an exceptionally well-sighted labradoodle an apartment that would be 3 floors above the bottommost floor of my apartment building if there were a basement. 4 if there were 2. And I apologize for prattling on so long about an elderly lactose-intolerant con man in my building who doesn't always clean up after a dog he claims can see through lies and around corners, but once I get started, well, you know. And should any viewers of this video choose to take part in this charade, become complicit in this tragic-comic farce, they are of course free to subscribe to this channel, as we live in what is commonly mistaken for a democracy and are possessing of what our capitalist overlords tell us is something called free will.